Hi everyone, in this video we're going to go over another Leetcode question, move zeros. Major tech companies like Google, Facebook, Microsoft, LinkedIn are asking this question while they're conducting their technical interviews. I hope you will find this video tutorial helpful for your technical interview preparation. Excuse me. Let's start with reading the question. Given an array nums, write a function to move all zeros to the end of it while maintaining the relative order of the non-zero elements. Example 0, 1, 0, 3, 12 becomes 1, 3, 12, 0, 0. Note, you must do this in place without making a copy of the array. Minimize the total number of operations. So, this is a very popular question. You will see this in the interviews quite often, so it would be a good idea to learn now. Basically, we are given a nums array, and we need to move all the zeros to the end, and we need to keep the order of the numbers. For example, 1, 3, 12 is in the same order here, 1, 3, 12, and zeros go to the end of the array. That is pretty much it. And we need to do this in place without making a copy of the array. For example, we can create a new array here and push all the numbers there and count the number of zeros. Then simply use this array. We can sort the items and return the array, new array. But in that case, we use a separate array and we are not allowed to do that. We have to do this in place without making a copy of the array. And we need to minimize the total number of operations. So let's get on the whiteboard and try to solve this. Like in many array questions, how we do if we have to do this in place, we use two-pointer approach. And here we will use two-pointer approach again. We have I pointer and J pointer. I pointer will swap the numbers when I pointer is not equal to 0. And J will only move after swap. J will stop. J will not move. And after swapping, since we don't want to swap the same number over and over again, we increment J number. And only after swaps. Let's start. Excuse me. So I is 0, so I is only interested in numbers. I is not interested in zeros. So we increment I. Oops. I is now 1. So what do? We swap I and J. So this means swapping 0 and 1. And after swap, what do? J moves. J only moves after swap. J otherwise stays where it is. I continues. I is 0 now. I is not interested in zeros. I is only interested in numbers, so I moves on. Oops. That's my bad, sorry. I is now a number again, so what do we do now? We swap I and J. This becomes 3. This becomes 3. And this becomes 0. After the swap, what do? We move J. Otherwise, J stays where it is. So J moves one step. And I continues. Now I is 12. And I is different than 0. What do? I and J, we swap. I becomes 0. J becomes 12. And we increment J. And I is at the end of the array now. So we get the output this way. And this is in O and linear time complexity and without taking extra space, so O1 space. Let's see this in the code and how it works. So here we have j in this. This only works after swapping. This is a swapping operation. Just create a temporal integer and set it to nums of j. Swap nums of j, then nums of I, set it to temp. So you will get this, see this quite often. So if you just memorize or learn it, that will be helpful. So I works using a for loop when nums of I is not equal to 0. So I is only interested in numbers, as I said. If it's not equal to 0, then swap with j, then increment j after swap. And otherwise do not increment j. J just stops and I continues walking. And when it's not 0, it swaps. I hope this makes sense. Let's submit and see. Okay, this works. And this is pretty much it for this question. I hope this video was helpful, and I have more videos coming up. If you subscribe to my channel, we can meet again later. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.